Welcome to the Flourish.Academy podcast. My name is Heather Lautinen, and I'm joined by my good friend Mara Chick. We both really enjoy reading books, and our mission is to help others grow professionally and personally. But we notice that when we recommend our favorite books to our friends and colleagues, they don't really have the time to read them.
We've got them covered. So on this podcast, we do the reading so that you can focus on your business. We'll give you a breakdown on the books that we explore, offer differing viewpoints, and tips on how to take action.
In this episode, we are wrapping up our discussion on the compound effect by Darren Hardy. We're in the final chapter. That's chapter 6.
And this chapter is all about acceleration. And wait till we get to the end, because there might be some fireworks.
It's about to get interesting.
Heather and I have some differing viewpoints here.
Acceleration. What is he talking about
So
here?
I will just start right into the book. In this chapter, I want to talk to you about those moments of truth and how the compound effect can help you break through to new and greater levels of success faster than you imagined possible. When you've prepared, practiced, studied, and consistently put in the required effort, sooner or later, you'll be presented with your own moment of truth. In that moment, you will define who you are and who you are becoming. It is in those moments where growth and improvement live, when we either step forward or shrink back, when we climb to the top of the podium and seize the medal, or we continue to applaud sullenly from the crowd. Oh, gosh. Okay. And this is one thing. He says, hitting the wall isn't an obstacle. It's an opportunity. Have you always viewed hitting the wall as an opportunity? I know that I have not.
Not hitting a wall. No.
I sometimes don't handle wall hitting gracefully.
I will admit.
But
I will say this. I don't have an alarm clock. I have an opportunity clock.
Oh, Lord.
And actually my opportunity clock, when it rings, it says Jesus saves. So it's an opportunity clock that wakes me up thinking, hey, Jesus woke me up another day. I still have something to do.
And it's time for you to jump in the shower.
It's time to do something and get after it.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, back to the book real quick. When conditions are great, things are easy. There aren't any distractions. No one is interrupting. Temptations aren't luring, and nothing is disturbing your stride. That, too, is when most everyone else does great. It's not until situations are difficult, when problems come up and temptation is great, that you get to prove your worthiness for progress. As Jim Rohn would say, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better.
Jim Rohn is my favorite ever. He was obviously a huge influence on Darren Hardy, as he is on me. I've digested every piece of content I can find from Jim Rohn. He has since passed, but he says that. I use that all the time. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Wish you were smarter, faster. Don't wish it were easier.
And then become better,
and then
faster, smarter.
Yeah. And the journey to become that person is what makes you who you are. And continuing on in the book, in the rest of this chapter, he really starts to get into expectations. Mara, what is your take on these expectations?
I am not a fan of expectations.
Talk to me.
I feel like expectations are a road to nowhere. Okay, I'm like back in my corporate days, we were always, now Heather knows this because I just wrote a blog post on my blog about expectations are a road to nowhere.
Sounds serious.
So back in my corporate days, we were rated on our performance on a scale 1 to 5, 1 being poor, 5 being great. 4 was exceeds expectations.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm like, what does that even mean? How can you exceed what's expected of you to do? Because if you do more than it is expected, then like you're at a different level. You know what I mean? You've progressed up this corporate ladder. So what I would do is during my evaluations, I would say, okay, I'm at a 4 because I was always rated a 4 or 4.5. I don't even know what a 4.5 was. It's in the middle, but
sounds good.
I'm not going to lie, I was very good at my job. My clients loved me. People that I worked with liked me, except when I had to yell at them, but that's beside the point. But I would always say to my boss, okay, I'm a 4, 4.5. How do I get to a 5, which is exceeds expectations, right? Is that what it was? Yeah. Outstanding.
Okay.
So it was like it exceeds was 4, outstanding was 5. I said, how do I get to a 5? Well, I don't know. I said, okay, but you say I exceed expectations, but then how do how do I get there? They're like, I don't know. In my 14 years there, nobody could tell me how to get to a 5.
Because they didn't know.
Because they can't measure it.
Right.
They can't measure expectations. Because you can expect something to change and it doesn't change. Here's what I have a problem with.
Ooh.
Okay?
Okay.
And I have this conversation a lot with my clients who are trying to lose weight and like, oh, I need to lose weight before my photo shoot. No, which is not true.
Right.
But this is a conversation I had with a friend of mine. She said, and I'm reading this to you. She said, I've been running 20 miles per week, but my body isn't changing. The scale doesn't move and my clothes aren't fitting better. She's training for a marathon. I said, the problem is that you're expecting things to change and you haven't met that expectation. So you feel like you failed and you get very defeated in the process, i.e. you lose all your momentum. Okay. It sends you down a rabbit hole of negative thinking that you can't get out of. And then it impacts everything in your life. She said, what should I expect then? And I said, nothing. Then she said, here's a natural follow-up question, right? Well, then why do I run? And I said, because you like to run and it makes you feel good. Stop expecting anything to change. Just do stuff because you love the way it makes you feel. If running doesn't make you feel good, don't do it.
Well, that's a very good point. Do something that makes you feel good. So if exercise, a certain type of exercise makes you feel good, that's what you need to exercise, period. Of course. But if there's a certain type.
They're like pushing too far and it's not doing anything for her. So I just feel like she was expecting something to happen. It didn't. She felt like she failed and she lost all of the momentum in her training.
Which is a dangerous cycle.
Yes. So I have a hard time when we saying like exceed expectations. We don't know what those are. Like we just do something because it's what we're supposed to do, not expected of us. Like I don't come here and expect you to feed me lunch.
Right.
I don't go home and expect my husband to have made me dinner. I don't expect anything. I don't do things for my husband expecting him to do something back for me.
Well, that's very true. Right. Because you'll be disappointed.
Yeah. And I don't want to be disappointed because it can ruin the momentum. So I just like to focus on where I'm going, how I'm growing, and my goals that are going to get me to where I want to be. Okay? Because if I've done it properly, I've defined the goals that will get me to that point. I'm not expecting it because I have to work for it. I think expectation has this connotation with it that it's like, it's just going to happen because I did it.
Right.
And that's, okay, now you go ahead. There, I talked for a few minutes about my issue with expectations. So go ahead, give it to me. And for the record, I did not have any notes, well, not a lot of notes when we got to this point of the book because I have a differing opinion. Right.
Here's what happened. You read the word expectations and you shut down.
I did.
And
because that's how strongly I feel about that word.
And by the way, the blog post is excellent. We should post a link to it below so people can read it. You are an excellent writer and you make very valid points. However, I don't think that's at all what the author was saying here.
Oh, okay.
I think you saw the word expectations and flipped your lid and went for it.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's how you viewed the word expectations. I'm going to go ahead and reframe this.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, I'm getting coached right now, people. It's live and in action.
Yeah, it's true. I just read it differently.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so he says from the book, Oprah is famous for using this principle of beating expectations with her generosity and ability to live and work in a big way. Do you remember how she launched her 19th season in September of 2004? When it comes to Oprah, we know to expect some fanfare, but she blew everyone away. The season opener was all the media or anyone else talked about for days afterward. So this is the episode he's referring to, is when she gave
a car and you get a car and you get a car. It's a famous meme.
Yeah, she gave a car to everyone. She exceeded expectations. So that's one example.
Okay, excuse me, but wait a second. Oh, see, now we're getting into a debate.
I love it.
Nobody went in there expecting to get a car.
No, nor should they have. Correct. So on that, I agree with you. They didn't even know.
Drop the mic. No, I'm just kidding.
But what the author is saying here is that as Oprah, she decided she was going to give away a car and then surprise everyone by giving everyone a car. She exceeded their expectations. They had no expectations. They didn't know they were getting a car.
Yes.
And she exceeded it by doing more than what was asked or expected, even if they didn't expect anything. we're sort of splitting hairs here. Let me find another example. He talks about when he proposed to his wife. Back to the book. When it was time to propose to my wife, Georgia, I could have done what was expected, met with her father, asked for his daughter's hand in marriage. Instead, I decided to pay great respect to her father by preparing my speech in Portuguese. I got her sisters to translate what I wanted to say. He understood English well enough, but I wasn't entirely comfortable with it. All the way up to LA from San Diego, I rehearsed the words, walked through the door carrying flowers and treats, asked her dad to join us in the living room, delivered my speech, and he said yes, but I didn't stop there. On the way back and over the next couple of days, I called each one of her 5 brothers and also asked for their blessing. No one expected that. My words, no one expected that. To join the family. Some were easy to convince, others proceeded to have me earn it. The point is, she told me later that one of the most special aspects about how I proposed was how I had honored her dad and how I had called every one of her brothers and her sister had me learn Portuguese. That made that act extra special. The result of that extra effort paid off exponentially. Here's the thing. The reason I'm bringing this up is because you are fantastic at exceeding expectations of your clients. They come to you, hold on, expecting a photo shoot. Okay, you could deliver that in your sleep. That's easy. So you have always leveled up. You take it next level with the experience.
But that's not an expectation. That's just what I do.
Right. Well, you exceed their expectations. They didn't expect you to do all of the fanfare that you do for them. They expected a photo shoot, which they paid for. Done. Okay. What the author is saying is don't just do what people pay you for, or don't just do if you've agreed to a certain job expectation, certain transaction is what I'm trying to say. If you agree to that, do more than that. Do more than what is expected of you. So if I ask my kids to clean their rooms and they clean their rooms and then the loft and the bathroom, then I'm obviously very happy because they did more than what I had asked or expected of them. Any interaction that I have with my clients, and I know you do this as well, the interaction you have with your clients, you are always doing more, way more than they would ever expect you to do. How many times has a client said to you, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I never expected you to do that.
Oh, all the time.
So in that regard, it's good. You do more than what is asked of you in order to exceed someone's expectations, in order to surprise and delight them. I can't remember what author I read recently that said you should surprise and delight everyone any chance you can get. Do something extra special for them. They don't have any expectations of you. You just do something above and beyond, and you are spreading good cheer and positivity, and that's good. I think when you hit the word expectations, I think your mind just exploded.
Literally.
And by the way,
I know.
that post and things you say are good and true and make sense, and I think can be very helpful to people with relationships,
Yes.
with weight, with finances. Like, what were you expecting to happen? Okay, it didn't happen. Either change your approach, change your expectations. Something's out of line. That's what drove you crazy about this section. Am I right? That means she wants to say yes, but she just can't bring herself to say. We viewed this section differently.
We did. And I think, expectations from somebody that, how do I want to say this? Ooh. When it's someone is coming in for a photo shoot and I exceed their expectations, I think that's fine. But when we do it to ourselves and we expect ourselves to change,
Perfect.
That's when I have a problem. And I'll give you that.
Well, that was a very succinct way to delineate it. I think that you're right. That's exactly right. Exceed expectations for others. Show yourself some grace when you're doing it to yourself.
Yes. I think because that's what I see a lot in my clients is that they're expecting themselves to change and they're not seeing it. They get discouraged and frustrated and stop.
They're not seeing it. They're not
Yes.
feeling it.
Yeah.
So everything, you're right. And they need to just reevaluate.
Yes.
For sure. So you helped them with that blog post, and that was very well written.
Okay.
I think that you should be an author, and maybe we could do one of your books on the podcast in the
Oh
future.
gosh, I'm just hyperventilating a little bit. Hold on.
That
let me
would be
pick
great.
myself up off the floor.
But isn't that funny how we both hit
both-
that section, and I read it, and he goes on to say, do the unexpected. Just
Yeah.
do the unexpected. If somebody does not expect something, do it for them. Back to the book. For instance, everyone sends Christmas cards, but since everyone does, it doesn't really have much emotional impact, in my opinion. So I choose to send Thanksgiving cards instead. How many of those cards do you get? Exactly. It makes a statement, and instead of bulk printed, computer generated best wishes cards, I handwrite personal sentiments expressing how grateful I am for my relationship with that person and what he or she means to me. Same effort, but much greater impact. So doing something unexpected can really surprise and delight. Man, I wish I could remember who said that. It was surprise and delight. Do things for people that they don't expect. Are you feeling a little bit better about chapter 6 now?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you're not, I can tell.
No, I am. It's just two separate things. And I have to segregate it in my mind, you know? Because when I see the word expectation, I immediately go to this like
you do.
mama bear place that I'm going to
Protective because you want to help your women.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I mean, I get what you're saying and Darren saying, that like I exceed expectations when they come in for their shoot, because they're just like, I'm here for a photo shoot, but it's
you are
so
the
much more.
Queen of it. Next to Oprah, it's you in exceeding expectations.
Oprah, Mara. Pretty even there, Oprah. I mean,
basically the same person.
I mean, next time I have money to get everyone cars, then
but you do it and you make people feel extra special. And you
that's important to me.
So one of the strategies as we wrap up chapter 6, I'd like everyone to attempt is to identify 3 ways you can do the unexpected. Where can you differentiate from what is common, normal, or expected? Now, this could be in your relationships with your spouse. This could be with your children, with your finances, with your health. Obviously, again, we're always hitting those top 3. But for instance, just do something that's unexpected for your spouse. So when they come home from work today, do something totally different. Now, I have my opinion on what that should be, but it's almost not suitable for this audience. Therefore,
Lord help me.
When your
Sweet Jesus.
When your spouse walks in the door, I was actually working with a client once who was struggling a little bit. And I said, when he comes home today, I want you to give him a decent kiss and just crack him on the rear end, and be funny. And she said, Heather, if I did that, he would literally fall over dead. He just wouldn't believe it. And we laughed, but it's actually a pretty sad state if he wouldn't believe that. So there's something that you can do. 3 ways. I want you to identify 3 ways you can do the unexpected. And if you'd leave a comment and let us know what you did or what you are planning on doing, then in what area of your life, maybe this is an area you need to work on, do a little bit extra. Also, he says, find 3 areas in your life where you can do extra, such as weightlifting reps increasing, more calls, recognition, sentiments of appreciation, etc. Just somewhere you can do a little bit more. And that's okay. So you can relax about the expectations. Hey, we finished with the compound effect.
Wow. Congratulations. We got through it. This was a really good discussion. A lot of topics to cover. This is a great, overall book for someone who wants to make some changes in their life.
This Honestly, book is fantastic.
And it's very easy to read. I know some of the books we read, it takes a lot of thought to sit
a little
down
more
and
challenging.
Read it. Yeah. But this one is an amazing book, and it touches on everything. We could sit down and talk about each individual section for probably one whole podcast.
Absolutely. Did you have a favorite part of this book? Would you say?
Oh my gosh. I think the influencers, the garbage in, garbage out, the peak performer, making sure you're hanging out with the right people. Because it's very important for me to be one of the people that you want to be with. So that part for me is critical. Very eye-opening.
Yeah. Associations.
And I always knew something was wrong with the news.
But now it's been confirmed.
Now it's confirmed. It's multiple times. What was your favorite part?
I was going to choose associations, but since you did,
I'm sorry.
That's
I took
okay.
yours.
I think I'll go to the bookending and routine, consistency, and having a routine that is working for you, not against you. Yes. If your routine is watching the news or binge watching Netflix every night, change your routine. If you want something different, you have to do something different. So why not try going to bed earlier, picking up this book or another book that interests you and reading 10 pages? You've got 10 minutes in you. And if you don't have a life.
or you're not serious about making changes. I always say that. If you can't give me, because I do these weekly challenges with the girls in my group working on their self-love, and I said, I just need a half an hour a week. That's all I need. And if you can't give me a half an hour in 7 days, you are not serious about changing.
Move along.
And I know it's hard. That's a hard truth and a hard pill to swallow for some people. And it's not like I'm being mean or negative, but I'm trying to make you realize that it takes little effort. Like if you actually just sit down for 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a week, like you will start to see changes. It'll be a little slower.
But if you're consistent over
But
time,
you'll get there.
It will compound.
Oh my goodness. We are geniuses. Oh, goodness. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to our discussion on the compound effect by Darren Hardy. Heather, can you tell everyone how they can support our podcast?
Absolutely. I would love to. Please subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please like, share, leave a review. That would be so helpful. And if you prefer video, you can also watch and subscribe to us on the YouTube. Just go to flourishacademy.tv. And if you liked the content, please, we encourage you to share this with your friends by posting on social media so that we can reach and help more people. And if you wish to purchase The Compound Effect or any of the books that we discuss in the podcast, please use a link to Amazon in the notes below. It's our affiliate link, and it just helps to support and offset the cost of the podcast.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time on the Flourish Academy podcast.